best Vanguard ranking from worst to best in anime Vanguard. If you want more of these, consider to be subscribed and like the video. Anyway, let's get right into it. Number 6, Diavolo. Diavolo is more of a support unit. He does slow and has 100% dodge chance. He cannot be stunned or debuffed. He also counter attacks any enemy that attacks him. He has a special ability that cancels any enemy that is trying to regenerate or split into more enemies. He also makes all enemies confused, which does make them walk back, including bosses. But the reason why he is here is because his DPS is really low and his special ability doesn't last that long. To be fair, in this day and age, we have many units who does this in their base kit. Anyway, let's move on. Number 6, Gogeta. Gogeta is mainly a DPS unit. He's kind of self-explanatory. He does double his damage each time he is attacking because he summoned a clone, and he also has a special ability that can move the unit to any location by teleporting. The reason why Gogeta is number 5 is because he doesn't have that much DPS compared to other Vanguard units we're gonna see soon. But he is still usable, at least for now. Let's move on to the next one. Number 4, Escanor. Escanor is one of the most highest DPS unit or damaging unit in the game currently. He is able to be placed with 0 yen, and he also upgrade himself for 15 waves when there are no units except Escanor. He also has a passive which gives him hour stacks, and these hour stacks buff his damage and range by quite a lot. He has 2 special abilities. The first one allows him to deal 400% damage. The second one allows him to gain max hour stacks and 50% damage more, but won't delete himself after 5 waves. The reason why Escanor is at this spot is because he isn't that good running with other units because he is too expensive and he is pretty weak against shielded enemies. Otherwise, he has great DPS. Let's go to the next one. Number 3, Jin-Woo. Vanguard Jin-Woo, one of the most long-lasting units in the meta, and it is still quite shocking. This unit has 3 nukes and can use each once in every match. His strongest nuke, that is named Dio, does 1000% of his damage, and the Igris nuke does 600% of his damage, and the Jin-Woo nuke does 400% of his damage. He can also summon enemies he kills and his shadows, like Beru does 200% of his HP, and still that gains 2% HP every second up to 300%, which can be very good against bosses that are pretty tanky. These are pretty strong. The reason why Jin-Woo is here is that his own DPS isn't that relevant anymore, but his special abilities carry. Anyway, let's move on to number 2, and number 2 is Broly. Broly, this unit is the Vanguard unit from last update. He is a monster, and let me explain. Broly is a crit focused unit that gains more crit after every waves. He also has a special ability to buff his crit and any unbound unit crits by 20% every waves. If his crit is over capped, then Broly will turn them into crit damage, and this crit damage will be his damage multiplier, so his damage will be dealing more damage than usual. He also can rupture on placement if he crits, making the unit the support slash DPS type of unit. I guess that's the reason for being number 2 and makes him one of the most broken units in the game. Anyway, let's move on to number 1, which is predictable. Kaguya. Kaguya is a support slash DPS unit. She can teleport to nearby enemies. She can also buff everyone on the map by 30% of her damage when she uses her domain. This domain also has different perks. Example, the sand domain does repulse every enemy including the boss on the map. The fire domain does 35% burn damage and does give 30% more damage to fire units and also slow enemies. The ice domain frees all enemies and apply 50% frost burn upon them and buff water type units by 30% damage. While she activates domain, she will teleport to any enemies that is close to the base, mostly bosses or just think of any enemy. She can teleport right to their face, which makes Kaguya really strong. But that's not all. Kaguya also has a nuke that deals 400% of her damage, and yeah, this nuke also hits the entire map, which makes this nuke one of the best nukes in the game. The reason why she is number 1 is because all of this crazy stuff. Well, Kaguya is number 1 for a reason. Nuke has a domain that buffs her allies, and also there's new units that can also buff Kaguya in return. Anyway, I think that's it for today's video. Let me know if you got any question in the comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Anyway, Viber out of the game.